Pungsharpito Vishnu Bhaktiste Navalakshana Priyate Bhagavato Adha Karmanne Gitam Buditam. The translation is Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities and paraphernalia and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord's respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming His servant, considering the Lord one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto Him. In other words, serving Him with the body, mind and words. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. So, in the Rupa Goswami, in this first context, is saying that Anya Vilasita Sunyam Jnana Karma Dhanapritam Anuklena Krishna Anushlanam Bhakti Uttamam. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord, Krishna, favorably and without desire for material profit or gain, through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. This is called pure devotional service. One should simply satisfy Krishna without being influenced by fruitive knowledge or fruitive activity. So, this verse is from the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Generally, this canto is dedicated to Prahlad Maharaj and his father Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was a great demon and Prahlad was a great devotee. So there are 12 Mahajanas. So within that 12 Mahajanas, Prahlad Maharaj falls one of the Mahajanas. So that means they are great authoritative leader for the Vedic civilization or Vedic culture or Vedic knowledge. So generally these 12 Mahajanas, they are known as Shambhu, Swayambhu, Narada, Kopila, Vyasadeva, Prahlada, Janaka Maharaj and Boli Maharaj. So these 12 Mahajanas, they are great authority of the Vedic scriptures. So here we find Prahlad Maharaj speaking, he is saying that Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Bandhanam Dashyam Shakham Atma Nivedanam Iti Pungsharpito Vishnu Bhaktischena Navalakshana. So, when we perform devotional service, there is 9 processes according to Srimad Bhagavatam, according to Prahlad Maharaj. So, Prahlad Maharaj is giving us things about what is the importance of this Navada Bhakti. Navada Bhakti, generally you will find there is a lot of descriptions about Navada Bhakti, Navavida Bhakti, 9 processes of devotional service. So it starts with what? Hearing and chanting about the glories of Krishna. So generally people are interested in hearing about mundane subject matter, they are not interested to hear about Krishna. But those who are very fortunate, they take sadhu sangha, they take the association of sadhu, devotees of the Lord, and they hear about Krishna. Because when you hear about Krishna, what happens now? It cleans your heart. What kind of anarthas it goes away by hearing the glories of Krishna now? Anarthas of lording over the material nature. And also anarthas, just like we have, there is a tendency of the living entity that they are trying to enjoy fruitive result of their work. They try to enjoy money, women, all these kind of things. But actually, Srimad Bhagavatam is saying that this type of enjoyment does not lead you to the spirituality. Rather, it makes you into the down planets. So that's why Prahlad Maharaj is saying that one should try to clean your heart through the hearing and chanting about the glories of Krishna. So now, chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, it is said that in Kali Yuga, in this age of qualism and hypocrisy, one should take the process of chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra with conviction and with fixed mind. Because by chanting Hare Krishna, one can clean all your heart from your material desires. So that's why Prahlad Maharaj is saying that if you want to clean your heart and if you want to establish Krishna within your heart, then one should try to hear and chant Hare Krishna mantra through the association of pure devotee. Bhagavata Paragiya Bhagavata Sthane Ekanto Ashray Karo Chaitanya Charan. One must hear the Srimad Bhagavatam from the devotee of the Lord. Just like in India, we see people do Bhagavad Sapta. They do Bhagavad Sapta, they sing. We hear Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days, then we are okay. Then after 7 days, we can do whatever we like. Bhagavatam does not permit that. Bhagavatam said you should hear Bhagavatam every day. Every day, whether you can do yourself or you can do in the association of devotees. But Bhagavatam must be heard every day. Because Bhagavatam can bring peace and prosperity. If you hear regularly Bhagavatam, then there will be peace and prosperity amongst the community, amongst the humanity, amongst your relationship, amongst your friends, family, everybody. That's why it says, Janataru Viplavo. It can create revolution amongst the human society if the Bhagavatam is recited every day. So that's why in the Vaishnava tradition, in our worship of method, we have two methods. One is called Bhagavata Marga and one is called Pancharatri Marga. Pancharatri Marga means that where you elaborately worship the deities, most of the times it goes for the deity worship. But there is not much recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. But in the Bhagavata Marga, there is hearing and chanting of the Bhagavatam is going on 24 hours. If you go to India, in Namisharana, where the Srimad Bhagavatam was originally recited, if you go there, you see the Srimad Bhagavatam is recited 24 hours, non-stop, every day. Very peaceful place. If you go there, you'll feel surcharged by spirituality. Because the pure place is so pure, by the presence of so many nice, beautiful devotees. I went a couple of times. Very beautiful place, very peaceful place. And it's a very good place to recite Srimad Bhagavatam. So we see, in the Namisharana, in the forest of Namisharana, all the saintly people, they got together. 10,000 saints, they all got together and they were reciting Srimad Bhagavatam continuously. There was no time for drinking water. There was no time for sleep. Continuously Srimad Bhagavatam was recited and they kept on hearing. So Prabhupada, when he established the temple, and especially Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, he wrote in a letter to the temple leaders that every day Srimad Bhagavatam must be recited in the temple. Every day. Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Whether you can do that in the temple or you can do it at your home. But Bhagavatam must be recited because it will free you from the hypocrisy and qualism of this age. Because this age is known as Kali Yuga. This is a very fallen age. Generally, everybody is quarreling, everybody is fighting. We see there are so many wars going on. Now if you read every day newspaper or if you go in the TV, you see so many people are just fighting. Every country is trying to fight another country. Because there is no peace. Because just like we see in Ukraine, the war is going on. They are trying to talk, they are having a dialogue of peace, talking peace, but I don't see any peace. They just kept on fighting, and innocent people are dying. Luckily, we have so many temples there, we have so many devotees there, and devotees are trying to distribute prasadam, helping the other people who are suffering. So, because when the dialogue is being discussed by these demoniac people, they do not take anything from the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. They just want to use their brain power. And they want to keep peace. But peace doesn't come like that. Peace comes from where? From the Srimad Bhagavatam. Peace comes from hearing about Krishna. Peace comes from by chanting the names of Krishna. Otherwise, the peace talk that we do, the United Nation and all these people, they are talking about so much about peace. But where is the peace? The peace and prosperity is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam is the incarnation, the literary incarnation of Krishna in this age. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Krishna for this age to bring peace and prosperity. Otherwise, with our so-called education, so-called being into well-to-do family, with richness, with beauty, fame, it's not going to bring you peace and prosperity. You don't, actually Prabhupada says in the purport that in order to become a devotee, in order to become a saintly person or becoming a devotee of Krishna, you don't need all these things that I have mentioned previously. You don't need to be born in a well-to-do family. You don't need to have a lot of richness. You don't need to be very beautiful. You don't need to be very famous. You don't need to have a healthy body. Or it says that even if you are born in a low-class family like a dog eater, like Chandala, or even if you are born in a very lower than a Chandala, Sudra, or even if you don't have a healthy body, still you are qualified to chant Hare Krishna. You are qualified to render devotional service in the 9 process which we have mentioned previously. But if you have all these facilities that we have mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, you can use them in the service of Krishna. But it's not necessary. The most necessary thing is to hear about the chanting of the name of Krishna and to glorify his glorious activities. That's why it says that Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Namaiva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, 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 Gatirana. In Kali Yuga, there is no other process. There is no other process. And there is no other process besides the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Besides the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In order to get peace and prosperity, this is the process. But people don't know. People don't have idea about this. So the devotees has to go and preach and give this message to others. So they will know about Krishna. They will know how to get peace and prosperity in their life. Generally, Vaishnavas are paradukha dukhi. Paradukha dukhi. When somebody is suffering, they are not happy. Vaishnavas are not happy. Rather, they suffer along with it. Just like we saw in the case of Jesus Christ. When Jesus Christ was crucified by his own people, he was not happy with it. But he was not happy with the people what they are doing to him. That's why he said, oh God, please forgive them, because they don't know what they are doing. They don't know what they are doing. Similarly, Haridas Thakur, 500 years ago, Chaitanya, after Jesus Christ, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago, he also showed by through his devotee, very exalted devotee, his name is Haridas Thakur. He was born in a Mohammedan family in Bangladesh, in Benapur. Still, if you go to Bangladesh, his birthplace still been saved by the devotees. And if you go there, you can see that place. He was born there in a Mohammedan family. But by the association of devotee, he became a devotee of Krishna. And he was chanting Hare Krishna. And the Muslim people thought that he was a kafir. That he was a kafir because he chanting the name of, he gave up the chanting the name of Allah. And he's chanting the name of Hindu God. So now the human beings, now you see how the human beings they describe Hindu God, Muslim God, Christian God. God is one. We are all God in Buddha. But God has got only one. God is one person, but He has different names. He comes in different incarnation, in different situation. But God is one, and we are all sons and daughters of God. Even the animals, they also belong to a part and parcel of God. So we all need protection. We all need peace and prosperity. It's not that we protect the human beings and we send the poor animals to the slaughterhouse. That is not the way we protect. God has given us everything, but we neglect the God's instruction. That is the cause of our disturbance. That is the cause of our unhappiness. Just like one of the great devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he is saying, Jivere Swarup Bhai Krishna Nitya Das. Jivere Swarup Bhai Krishna Nitya Das. The real identity of the living entity is we are, by Swarupa, we are the servant of Krishna. As soon as you accept that, then there is only happiness. Krishna Shujya Samahai, Maya Andhakar. Wherever there is Krishna, there cannot be any science. And wherever there is any science, there is no Krishna. Wherever there is Maya, there is no Krishna. And wherever there is Krishna, there is no Maya. So, if we hear about Krishna, if we chant the names of Krishna, the result is always happiness. You will feel within yourself, you will feel happy. And this devotional service is performed with what? With jubilation. It is not done in unhappiness. It is done with jubilation. Because why? Because there is happiness. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that those who are actually after giving up sinful activities, when they give up sinful activities, there is no more sinful activities, then they come to Krishna. Because there are 4 types of people, generally they come to Krishna, but they are all pious. Only pious people can come to Krishna. But there are 4 types of people who are very impious. They will never approach Krishna. They will never approach God. So, I was talking about Haridas Thakur. This Haridas Thakur, even though he was born in a Mohammedan family, but he took the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. And then when the Muslim king, Nawab, when he heard that Haridas Thakur, he was born in a Muslim family, and he's chanting the name of Krishna, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he's chanting the name of Hindu God, then somehow he sent his representative and they caught Haridas Thakur and brought him for justice into court by Nawab. And then Nawab asked many questions to him that why you are chanting these names of Hare Krishna mantra of Hindu God. You born in a Muslim family, you are born in a very high class family, why you are chanting this name of God and putting yourself in down position. You are vidharmi. You have accepted the dharma, you forgot the dharma, your real dharma, and you became a vidharmi. So you should stop immediately the chanting of name of Krishna and you should read Quran and chant the names of Allah. And then Haridas Thakur, he spoke, he's saying that there is no difference between the chanting of the names of Allah and chanting the names of Krishna. Hare Krishna mantra. Your God, my God is all same. There is no different God. But that instruction, that knowledge did not go in the head of this Nawab king. Because materially very much polluted, the mind was very materially polluted. Even the great Mahatma like Haridas Thakur, who is this Haridas Thakur? In his previous life he said Brahmadeva. Brahmadeva, he came as Haridas Thakur in the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's what the Gauriya Vaishnava describes. that this Haridas Thakur, he was actually Brahma, the creator of the universe. He came as Haridas Thakur, but he was born in a Mohammedan family. He could not understand, this Nawab could not get that knowledge, and rather he became angry. And he said, if you do not accept the Quran, and if you do not chant the name of Allah, then we will have to punish you, because you became a Vidharmi. And by being present of yourself in this earthly planet, you will create havoc. You will create more trouble for the other people. You will create unhappiness to the followers of Allah. And in this way, he was really being heavy with Haridas Thakur. But Haridas Thakur said, no matter what you say, I'll never give up the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. He said, even if you kill me and cut me into pieces, I will never give up the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. So anyway, he did not accept what the king was saying, and he made a revolution against the king. And then king ordered his messengers, his soldiers, that you go him and take him to the marketplace and beat him in 22 marketplace, so that people can see they chant. If being a Muslim, somebody chants Hindu God's name, what will be the result? So they took him to the market, in 22 marketplace, they start whipping. But he was just chanting Hare Krishna mantra, nothing was happening to him. He didn't die, and slowly they asked him, do you please die, otherwise the Nawab will kill us, because we did not complete our duties. So for the feeling of those people, Haridas Thakur made himself into a trance. He became in trance, he became in samadhi. He came to samadhi where you can feel that he is dead, but actually he didn't die. But they thought he died, and they took his body and they put him on the river, Ganga. And then he went to the other side, he floated, and he came out and again started chanting Hare Krishna mantra. And it was heard by the Nawab that this Haridas Thakur came back live and is chanting Hare Krishna. And immediately it came to his mind that I have made a great offense. That this person is not an ordinary person, he must be a representative of Allah. Otherwise, how come this thing can happen? So he went with all his representatives, with all his ministers, and went to Haridas Thakur on the other side of the Ganga river, and he went and he paid his prostrated obeisances to Haridas Thakur. He said, my dear sir, please forgive me. If you don't forgive us, then all our family tradition, everybody will die. Out of your offense to you, our all family wealth, beauty, everything will be finished. Everything will burn into ashes. So then Haridas Thakur said, because devotees, they are very merciful, so he forgave them. And he told them, you please chant Hare Krishna mantra. So they start chanting Hare Krishna, they did Kirtan. So this is how we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed so much importance to the chanting through Haridas Thakur, that how name in these days is so powerful. We have seen that also just a couple of years back in Russia, when devotees were preaching. In the beginning, the Russian government gave so much trouble for chanting Hare Krishna. They were trying to humiliate the devotees physically. They put them in concentration camp. They used some kind of injection. They think that they have been brainwashed. So many things they tried, but the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is so powerful, it did not stop. And now there's so many devotees, so much chanting Hare Krishna going on, they couldn't stop it. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying that out of this Navavida Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam and Vishnu Smaranam, these are very important. In Kali Yuga, people should go to the temple, hear about Krishna, chant the holy name of Krishna, and remember Krishna. And if you remember Krishna, the result is happiness. And if you can remember Krishna at the time of death, then you are successful in life. What else you want? Bhajan karo, pujan karo, morte janle bhai. whether you do bhajan or pujan, but you have to know the art of dying. At the time of death, if you can think about God, if you can think about Krishna, then your life is successful. But somebody may say, okay, our whole life I'll do sinful activities and in the end of the life I'll just remember Krishna. But that is not possible for everyone. Because we are attached by living entities naturally attached to this material world, material enjoyment. So there is a great chance of thinking at the time of death of material things instead of thinking of God or thinking of Krishna. So that's why Prahlad Maharaj said that we should abhyas, we should practice this Krishna consciousness on a regular basis from the age of 5. Not we should wait until we become 70 or 80 years old. We should practice this Krishna consciousness at the age of 5. And this way, when you practice every day, then there is no chance of forgetting Krishna at the time of death. There is no chance. You remember Krishna and go back on back to God. And you say, we will be happy in the spiritual world. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So we have Sharon, I think. Deepa Mata, are you here? Okay, so evening we'll have again Sunday feast 4 o'clock. And I know if somebody doesn't come in the evening, I just want to announce that we're going to have a Ratha Yatra festival on 3rd, 4th and 5th of June. So you can visit those days. It's Friday, Saturday and Sunday. The 4th is the Ratha Yatra, 5th is the Manihari festival, and on the 3rd we will have Adivas ceremony for the festival. So we are expecting almost 2,000-3,000 people. So if devotees, we always want devotees help to serve, and if you want to support this festival, please come and see me. And if you want to support any other way, you can also see us, because any festival we need people help, we need devotees help. It's not one man job, we need a lot of people's help. So it's the 1st, 2nd and 3rd. 3rd, 4th and 5th. Yes. 3rd, 4th and 5th. 4th is the festival. We'll do the Ratha Yatra in downtown this year. So downtown of the Ratha Yatra, we'll have the parade for almost 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And then we'll come back here, and in the evening we'll have a festival, or we'll have a lot of cultural program in the temple. And we'll be serving almost like 50 to 2,000 devotees in downtown itself. Thank you very much. Any questions? Anybody wants to say anything? Others will have prasad. So we'll serve prasad from the small room. Thank you very much.